the Filipinos is we have such a strong sense of community.
It means the world.
It means the world for them to make the effort to stay up late and stay in the cold and cheer me on.
For them to make the effort to stay up late and stay in the cold and cheer me on.
Those words came from Alexandra Eala. She had just survived a 3-set war, 7-5, 4-6, 7-5, against Diana Yastremska on Stadium 3 at Indian Wells, a 4,500-seat court, standing room overflowing.
My friends will tell me that the courts are full at home
And somewhere on the resale market that same night, listings for BNP Paribas Open sessions were touching numbers that stopped the tennis world cold.
So when Eala plays, we all get together and we all watch her support her as a group of people.
What those fans in the cold paid, or tried to pay, to be in that stadium tells a story the scoreline cannot contain. Subscribe now and drop your prediction below. Can anyone stop Eala from a deep run at Miami after what she just showed at Indian Wells? Rewind 72 hours. Eala arrived at Indian Wells ranked 32nd in the world, a number that represents a 108-spot climb from where she stood exactly 12 months ago. She came in seeded, granted a first-round bye, and immediately scheduled into Stadium 3, the most intimate show court in the Garden designed for close-quarters tennis, not for the kind of demand that was already building in the stands during her practice sessions. Indian Wells is not a regular stop. It is widely recognized as the 5th Grand Slam, the most prestigious event outside Melbourne, Paris, London, and New York. And that context matters enormously for what came next. Here is where the collision begins. Stadium 3 holds 4,500 people. Its seating structure is intentional, a handful of reserved rows up front. The rest, general admission.
And she's humble, and she works hard. Yes. That's why we like her.
That design works beautifully when a match draws a standard crowd. It becomes a pressure cooker the moment a player arrives whose fan base does not function like standard tennis fandom. At the same time, Indian Wells had already tightened access across the venue. Stadium 2, an 8,000-seat court, moved to a fully reserved format. Grounds passes no longer grant entry. Stadium 1 tickets do not get you in. Fans who purchased general access passes found themselves locked out of a major show court, and the backlash was immediate. Reports described the atmosphere in those newly restricted sections as noticeably thinner, empty rows where passionate crowds used to stand. So the environment entering Eala's match was already charged: shrinking access, rising fan frustration, and a secondary market that had already, according to at least one captured marketplace view, pushed session listings to price bubbles approaching $1,171. The exact figure tied specifically to Eala's match remains reported rather than officially confirmed. But the territory those numbers occupy is real, and it is visible. That was the arena Eala walked into on Saturday, March 7th. Start with the math. Stadium 3 seats 4,500 people. Alexandra Eala's fan base in Southern California alone, a community Philstar reports numbers around 2 million Filipinos across the state, represents a potential audience that dwarfs that stadium by orders of magnitude. You do not need advanced economics to understand what happens when millions of people want to occupy 4,500 seats. The market does not negotiate. It simply charges whatever the demand supports. Now imagine you are one of those fans. You have been following Eala's climb since she was an unranked junior. You know her name. You have set your alarm for 2 a.m. back home to watch her matches. You have rearranged your Saturday evening plans, dinner, family time, everything to be in that stadium. A Tennis Channel camera crew captured fans admitting exactly this. We plan our dinners around that. That is not enthusiasm. That is devotion. That is the kind of fandom that turns a round of 64 match into a cultural event. And the tournament responded to that devotion by tightening the gates. Stadium 2 went fully reserved. The grounds pass, historically the working fans' ticket to atmosphere, stopped granting access to a major show court for the first time. Tennis journalist Ben Rothenberg called the restriction deeply annoying for fans, and he was not alone. Across fan forums and broadcast segments, the same complaints surfaced. The venue was becoming layered with paywalls, and the people most passionate about being there were the ones most likely to be priced out. When access contracts and demand expands, the resale market fills the gap. One captured marketplace listing view showed BNP Paribas open session prices reaching $1,171 in the secondary market, reportedly reflecting the broader demand surge across the event. Whether $1,127 maps to a single Eala match ticket or to the session pricing environment around her remains a matter of reported interpretation. What is not in question is the range those numbers occupy. Then Eala walked onto that court and gave everyone who paid whatever they paid exactly what they came for. 7-5, 4-6, 7-5. 3 sets, turbulence throughout the match stats, heavy double fault pressure, swings of momentum that sent the stadium through multiple emotional cycles before the final point. Yastremska is not a qualifier. She is a tested professional. And Eala dismantled her over 3 sets in front of a crowd that had paid premium prices to witness exactly that kind of fight. The fans who sensed this was coming before the rankings confirmed it, before the broadcast segments caught up, before the resale algorithms started pricing her matches like concert tickets. Those fans were not wrong. The phenomenon they recognized months ago just priced itself into 4 figures on the open market. Paul Annacone spent years inside the game at its highest level. He coached Roger Federer. He navigated the political and promotional machinery of ATP tennis at the summit. When Annacone speaks about what creates genuine sustained star power versus manufactured buzz, his assessment carries a different weight than a pundit's opinion. His read on Eala is precise. Why, she's got a smile that lights up a room. And the fan stuff is always fun to me because whenever you see players from smaller countries, the fans are so passionate when they get to the top. Read that again carefully. Annacone is not describing a curiosity. He is describing a structural phenomenon, the compressed, intensified loyalty of a fan base that has never had this before, suddenly erupting around a single player. That passion does not stay at home. It books flights, it buys grounds passes, it pays whatever the secondary market asks. Annacone has seen how demand scales when genuine star power meets genuine community pride, and what he is describing at Indian Wells is exactly that combustion. Eala's next match sets up a collision that tournament directors have been quietly anticipating. Coco Gauff, the reigning U.S. Open champion, the face of women's tennis in America, is reportedly lined up as Eala's round of 32 opponent. Eala has already faced Gauff this year in Dubai, losing 0-6, 2-6. She made clear after that match that she wanted another opportunity, that she had learnings to apply. If that rematch materializes at Indian Wells, the demand curve that pushed session prices toward 4 figures in a 4,500-seat venue will collide with a marquee matchup that deserves Stadium 1. After Indian Wells, the circuit moves to Miami, the site of Eala's breakout quarterfinal last year, the city where the Eala Effect first announced itself at WTA 1000 scale. That trajectory is not coincidental. Miami, Indian Wells, Dubai, 3 of the biggest non-slam stages in the calendar, and Eala has made deep runs or generated major headlines at every stop. The question tournament directors cannot avoid much longer is whether the court assignments are keeping pace with the demand she creates. A 4,500-seat stadium generating 4-figure resale listings is not a scheduling footnote. Now, it is a commercial signal that the venue's infrastructure has not yet adjusted to what this player means to the marketplace. At the Australian Open in January, Eala lost in the first round to Alicia Parks. The crowd pressure at Melbourne Park during her practice sessions had been significant enough that she addressed it directly in her press conference. "It's a process to take it all in," she said. "There were elements that were a bit overwhelming. Especially during my practices." She did not minimize it. She named it. And then she returned to the court, navigated through Dubai, beating Paolini, beating Cirstea, reaching the quarterfinals, and arrived at Indian Wells with a career-high ranking of 31. The overwhelm did not stop her. It became part of the process she described, absorbed and converted into fuel, a 4,500-seat stadium. Resale listings approaching $1,171 in captured marketplace views. Fans rearranging their lives, their dinners, their sleep schedules, their Saturday evenings in the California cold to occupy whatever seat they could find. A three-set thriller that delivered every dollar of drama the market priced in. And at the end of it, Eala standing at the net saying, "The crowd's sacrifice means the world." This is what cultural phenomena look like before the infrastructure catches up. The resale algorithms already know what the stadium assignments haven't yet acknowledged. Alexandra Eala matches are not early round fillers. They are events. Every tournament that underestimates that reality will watch the secondary market correct the oversight in real time. The fans who have been watching this build, who recognized the demand before the headlines named a dollar amount, were not projecting. They were reading the room accurately, months ahead of the market. Now here is the question that should drive the conversation in every tennis operations meeting between now and Miami. Will Indian Wells, or any WTA 1000, move Eala to a venue that matches what her fan base is actually willing to pay? Or will the resale platforms keep setting the real price while the ticketing office pretends the 4,500-seat court is sufficient? Drop your prediction below. Can anyone stop Eala from a deep run at Miami after what she just showed at Indian Wells? Every match in this run is going to matter. The next video covers what is coming, and if you are not subscribed when that Goff rematch becomes official, you will be searching for highlights instead of watching history unfold in real time. Subscribe now. The story is not pausing.